Today, I'm confirming my candidacy for the role of public advocate.
What does the public advocate do, first of all?
So the public advocate is supposed to advocate for New Yorkers, make the city better. It's supposed to monitor the other city agencies. And I think what's happened with the current public advocate is they've advocated for causes that are good for some of New York City, but they haven't seen the whole picture, which is we've had 200,000 illegal immigrants come into the city, and there haven't been any advocacy against that. In fact, there's been support for the sanctuary city policy. And the question I have for New Yorkers, and I've run against Jamal Bowman, I've run against AOC, I'm going to be running against Jumaane Williams or whoever is running. The vote is going to be next June. Have we had enough socialism after 5 years, or do we want more socialism? And I think the answer is New Yorkers have had all the socialism that they want, and we need to go back to basics. We're rolling with Dolan in the Astoria houses. Tomorrow night, the challenge is on between the Harlem Wizards coming to the Astoria houses at 7 o'clock on Father's Day to play my campaign team and the people from this beautiful community. All right, we'll see you all tomorrow at 7 o'clock in Astoria houses. Here we are in the Marty Mobile, heading for the Bronx, heading for Queens. We're going to put some leaflets out. We're going to talk to the voters. We're going to give them the information, and on June 25th, we're going to change the world. Today and now, we're going to talk about the projects. So everybody knows about the projects. Those brown buildings, they're not just in New York, they're everywhere. But they're the biggest in New York. 300,000 apartments, somewhere between 600,000 and 800,000 people live in the projects. They were built after the Second World War, probably 1948, 1950, 1955. And they were built because they were better than the ghetto. There's an improvement. And that would happen because the ghetto was better than where the minorities were living, which was in the South. And since Reconstruction, there had been no Reconstruction. What I'm saying is, it's time to move on from the projects in a way that's real. Real equity at last. REAL, real equity at last. If the federal government can give Governor's Island to New York for $1, then my proposal with real equity at last is that we transition ownership of the projects from the city to the people who've lived in the project. There we are on our way to meet the mayor. 4-minute trip. By the way, it was a Democratic mayor who put these ferries in. Hey everybody, happy Easter from campaign headquarters. Happy Easter to all of you in Congressional District 14, all of you in New York, and really happy Easter to everybody who believes in rebirth and promise and what our founding fathers called the search for a more perfect union. That's really what we're here for. We're here to make things better for ourselves and for the next generation. And that's one of the great meanings of Easter. It signifies the warmth of the rising sun, the chance for a new life, a fresh start, and coincides with the arrival of the warm springtime sun, which we're ready for it because for the last month we've been out in the district, in the Bronx, in Queens, along the shoreline, where it's been freezing cold, very windy, and trying to collect signatures in the rain. But the response has been unbelievable. We've had thousands and thousands of people sign our ballot petitions. We're submitting them to the Board of Elections tomorrow. And so for us, it's a chance to turn the page and really get started into the campaign. So I want to say thank you to all my supporters. I wish everyone a happy Easter with their families. They can enjoy the warmth of the arriving springtime sun. And happy Easter to the people of the Ukraine. Bronx is that this railroad track, which is acres and acres and acres and miles upon miles of valuable real estate, carries commuters and Amtrak travelers from Connecticut or from wherever straight through the Bronx, straight through, no stops, has done so for decades and decades and decades. And what's going to happen is Metro North has finally figured out a way to put stops in the South Bronx, benefit the communities. Problem is, this is going to come with upzoning, and with upzoning, you're going to get high density housing. You're going to get strain on these local communities. You can see here, we got a community of more like townhouses than skyscrapers, but they're going to put in huge buildings here. They're going to put in low income housing. This is a super hot topic because one of the complaints about the Bronx is that for the last 50, 60, 70 years, billions of dollars of infrastructure for commuters, which is fair enough, but to get through the Bronx, not to help the people of the Bronx. What I'm saying is we have to have these stops in here, but you also have to take the perspective of trying to keep the community, this beautiful community here with, you know, trees and sidewalks and, you know, low-rise houses, and keep the character of the community. So let's get Metro North in here. Let's get the stops in here. Today we're going to talk about the difference between forestry and gardening. So with forestry, what you're doing is you're putting nature in charge. You're basically saying, we're going to plant the trees, we're going to make sure there's water, we're going to fertilize the young trees, but you really can't control what happens in a forest. Now in a garden, you're there and you're planting the little flowers here and you're constantly changing things around. You're kind of fussing over the garden. And that's the difference between socialism and Democratic Party, which is what the Democratic Party should understand is that we're in the forestry business. We have to plant young trees, and we have to do more for the young trees. We're not doing enough for the young trees. You don't put a tree house on a young tree, and you don't leave a tree house, a small tree in shade. You grow it, and we have to find incentives for the young people from the ages of 10 to 12 years old to the age of 25, so they grow up and they're part of the forest. But when you have the mentality of a gardener, it's like you're in charge. We're not in charge. What you see when you're in a diner is there's this person who does this and this person who does that. And it's a great way where you can learn the basic lessons of life, which is political parties should be in the forestry business. They should set it up so that people can grow and become the best they can be, but they can't do too much for them like you do with a garden. Everybody take care, and I'll see you at the diner.
Appreciation is hereby granted to John Cortese on this day of November 19, 2024 in recognition of your tireless work.
Okay. Let the record reflect. With 26 yeas, 3 abstentions, and 8 noes, the motion for approval carries.